Ladies and gentlemen, now today, thanks to MCOC Journal, we're going to be having our very first look at the data mined abilities for Immortal Hulk, one of the two new champions arriving in November. And this guy, he looks like he could be very, very spicy, man. Like, looking through this stuff, it just got me so excited. This character seems like he could be very aggressive, very fun to play, and just like a really interesting addition to the game. But bear in mind that all of this stuff is early data mine stuff, so yeah, it can and probably will change a little bit when it comes to the release version as well. So just keep that in mind moving forward through today's breakdown. But some of the core mechanics of this character: he's got rage, he also has gamma radiation, and also immortality as well. I'm going to talk about all of this stuff as we go down, but just to give you a bit of a teaser. So the first thing is he is fully immune to poison. Also, his regeneration rate cannot be decreased or increased by outside sources, and he has the mechanic that OG Hulk has as well, which he gains additional attack rating based on how much health he's lost during the entire fight, and this ability is based on a percentage of Hulk's health there. So rage deals a burst damage to Hulk and his opponent. So Hulk's medium attacks, the first hit of his special 1 attack and the first and last 2 hits of his special 2 apply rage stacks, and consecutive rage attacks build up rage stacks, and all rage stacks are lost after a certain amount of seconds without performing a rage attack. And rage stacks do not expire during Hulk's special attacks. So I think what you basically need to do to build up your rage is you've got to be very, very aggressive. However, I'm not really too sure about this line as well. It deals a burst of damage to you and also your opponent. So I think the concept of this character is going to be a little bit different, where he's kind of inflicting damage to himself as well, but also the immortality mechanic that he has, I think, is meant to offset that. Again, I'm not too sure exactly how he's going to work, but that's kind of just speculation there. So these deal a burst of direct damage to Hulk for each rage stack, except when using the medium 1 attack, and Hulk cannot be knocked out by this ability. So you can't KO yourself from this ability. However, if the recall mastery is active, the recall damage is disabled, and instead deals a burst of direct damage to Hulk, plus an equal amount for each rank. Hulk cannot be knocked out by this ability. So yeah, he can't die from his own rage damage there. And then obviously you deal a burst of physical damage to your opponent as well. So he seems like a very wild character in terms of the base concept. You're dealing hopefully lots of damage to your opponent, but also nuking yourself in the process. So yeah, it seems a little bit mad there. So his heavy attacks are going to refresh the rage timer and also double his rage stacks as well. So I think you're going to have to weave those in to get him, you know, really, really angry. And also the last hit gains additional attack rating for each stack of rage that you have as well. He also has persistent gamma radiation that can be increased via various sources and also special attacks as well, but he is gained when Hulk takes damage from some abilities. So I assume when he takes damage from rage, he's going to get that as well. And a percentage of damage dealt to Hulk while afflicted with degeneration is also stored as gamma radiation, and gamma radiation's maximum strength is equal to a percentage of Hulk's maximum health, and also scales with boosts and buffs as well. So the more health this character has, the more potential gamma radiation, and I think this translates somewhat into damage as well, potentially. So yeah, this is interesting, especially with one of the synergies as well. And a percentage of all self-inflicted damage is stored as gamma radiation, and a percentage of all damage dealt to Hulk when he is struck is stored as gamma radiation. So you're going to get this, you know, when you're in your rage and just nuking into the opponent, also nuking into yourself. But he also has the immortality mechanic. So the champion cannot be knocked out. So when receiving damage that would knock out Hulk, consumes a certain percent of max health as gamma radiation and gains an immortality passive, which prevents him from dying and also gives him unblockable for a certain amount of seconds as well, but it has a cooldown. So I think there is going to be a vulnerable period where he can die and can be killed, and I think that's kind of the secret to taking down this guy. But yeah, it seems a little bit mental, a little bit mad. I imagine that's going to be really, really good in certain fun and interactive fights as well, very much like Hela's cheat death is. So yeah, that seems really, really cool. So while active, any damage prevented by immortality consumes an equal amount of gamma radiation instead, but this does not apply to self-inflicted damage. And while active, you get unblockable and also bonus attack rating as well on top of that. But when immortality expires, you consume all gamma radiation, you become invulnerable and gain a regeneration passive, recovering a certain amount of health plus all gamma radiation as health over a certain amount of seconds as well. So yeah, I think it looks like it's going to be a really wild and interesting rotation where he's like just bouncing back from kind of the brink of death constantly. So yeah, I really don't know how to feel about that, but I want to see it in action, man. It seems really, really mad. And I like that they've thought about the suicide masteries of this character as well, because again, he does have like full immunity to poison. So if you bring in like the Nick Fury synergy or just use willpower, you can offset the bleed pretty easily. So I would assume that he's going to work quite well with the suicide masteries there, which is pretty cool. And then we've got special attacks. We've got special one, Rampage. Hulk crashes down on his opponent, pummeling them with a series of reckless swings, and this has a chance to stun the opponent for a certain amount of seconds. I would imagine this is almost guaranteed there. And then on the special two, we have shoulder mash. So Hulk tears up the ground and launches boulders at his opponent, followed by a high-speed charge. And this has a chance to inflict a stun debuff on the last hit, but also inflicts a suppression debuff, reducing defensive power rate by a certain amount for a certain amount of seconds. So again, this is going to really help in aggressive scenarios where you want to just keep on like laying in the hits, building up rage, and dealing as much damage as possible, because yeah, it's going to give the opponent a lot less power attacking in, which seems very, very nice there. And then on the special 3, we've got Devil Incarnate. So gamma energy courses through Hulk's veins, taking hold of his opponent. Hulk hurls them around the battlefield in a fit of rage, and this inflicts a petrify debuff, lowering regeneration and ability power rate by up to a certain amount for a certain amount of seconds, but also adds a flat amount of strength to gamma radiation as well. So I'm curious to see like exactly how strong that petrify is going to be, because I think utility wise he is like a little bit short of stuff. Again, you got burst of physical damage, the immortality could be some of the craziest utility in the entire game. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how powerful these debuffs are going to be and whether or not he can reverse healing as well on his opponent, because you can't reverse healing on him, but on his opponent, man, maybe he could be like void as well on the special 3. That'd be really, really good. But yeah, I'm very curious as to how this Immortal Hulk is going to work exactly. And we also have his signature or awakened ability on top of that as well. So Hulk surges with gamma energy from the below place, empowering him as he gains more gamma radiation. So at 25%, and I imagine this is going to be quite quick and easy to get to. Your basic attacks have a chance to stun the opponent for a certain amount of seconds, so I think this is going to be really good with his aggressive playstyle. Again, stuns, if you're very quick on the ball, just allow you to chain on the combo there. 50% when the opponent is immune to a stun effect, or a stun effect expires, you inflict a weakness debuff, decreasing attack rating by a certain amount for a certain amount of seconds. And also at 75%, you inflict an indefinite petrified debuff, lowering regeneration and ability power rate by a certain percentage as well. So this, if it stacks with the special 3-1, could be the way that he reverses healing and maybe power gain as well, man. But I'm thinking there is some mad potential with this character. But then also we've got the synergies. So we got one with Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. So at the start of the fight, he gets a petrify debuff for 8 seconds, and also for Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel gives 25% fury potency. That's okay, but not really like crazy there, I think, for either character. But the Hulk, petrify might be very useful in the right scenario when the opponent does start with a big burst of regeneration there. And then we got one with Hulkbuster, Thor, Captain America, Black Panther, and I hope this one is a little bit better than it reads on paper. So it increases the stun effects duration on Hulk Immortal by a certain percentage. So hopefully that's going to be a A big booster there as well, but opponents suffer minus 10% ability accuracy while stunned for the rest of them, and that's very, very low, so hopefully that's much better when it comes to being in the game. However, this Dormammu one actually looks really, really nice. So Hulk, at the start of each fight, he sacrifices a percentage of his current health, gaining an equal amount of gamma radiation, so this one, for getting into damage a bit quicker, actually might be really, really good for the character. And Dormammu gains up to 75% attack rating based on his dark energy charges. So yeah, most of the time it's very easy to just spring up to like full dark energy charges on Dormammu, especially when like draining power off the medium attacks and special too. So yeah, this could be a really big booster to Dormammu's damage. I don't think it's going to be like enough for Dormammu, but it'll be like nice to make him a bit more playable, I think. So yeah, that was not too bad there. And also Mephisto, knocking out villains, grants 1 additional soul charge. And then he also has this Gamma Mutate synergy, which I assume is with all of the Hulks in the game. It might be a solo synergy, but it gives more maximum health to all of the synergy members, but again, it doesn't list them anywhere here. And then unfortunately there's a bit of an error here where one of the Red Goblin synergies is also in this card. However, overall, again, if this gives us a rough idea of what's in store for Immortal Hulk, I'm really, really excited. He seems like a very different take on a lot of the Hulks that we have in the game at the moment. So yeah, I'm curious to see how the rage, the gamma radiation, and also the immortality mechanics work and function together. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your early thoughts on Immortal Hulk in the comments section below. And if you did enjoy today's breakdown, please do smash that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.